All right, folks, thanks everybody for coming. Big thank you to Perficient for hosting this time. And thanks again to Perficient for the refreshments, food, and the drink. So, we got two presentations lined up. Rick's going to present a little bit on Perficient, and then we're going to hand it over to Coveo. Who's going to talk about the latest version of their Coveo for Sitecore connector. So, about that, I'm going to turn it over to Rick.
All right, I got one more turn over, but Stephen will start the slide deck. But before I do that, first of all, thank you guys for doing this with us. It's a real pleasure to have you here. I want to let you guys know restrooms are out the door, all to the right in case you need it. Please help yourself to food and beverage along the way. But we're excited to have you here. Steve's just going to give a little overview about some kind of some that I haven't seen and we've been seeing as far as kind of our customer landscape and all the agenda come on from there. And Stephen is the director of our Sitecore practice at Equal Incentive. Thank you for coming in. And I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks. So we shared a little bit about kind of who we are and that sort of thing. I've been working with Sitecore for probably about 5 or 6 years now. I've been here at Perficient as the Sitecore practice director for about the last 18 months. I've been recognized as an MVP since 2013, so I've had a good deal of time working on the platform, working with some of our larger customers, and Ricky asked me to share just a little bit about some of the trends that we're seeing in the marketplace around Sitecore, and how some of the the customer landscape is changing, and what some of the things we may need to do are in order to kind of adjust and compensate. How many of the folks here, just a quick show of hands, how many people are more on the development side than the marketing side? How many people are more on the marketing side than the development side? How many people don't know where they are? Give it a little time, give it a little time. So we've got overwhelmingly a development-centric audience, which is good. We'll talk primarily. My background, right, is as a developer and architect. So those are going to be the guys that I'm primarily talking to. And in terms of the way that the role of a developer and the way that the role of an architect is changing within the Sitecore space. First, just a little bit about Perficient. We've been a partner of Sitecore since I think 2004. So quite a long time. We've got about 60 certified people as part of our team. About half of that is based here in North America, including a number of folks here in the Milwaukee area. And then we've got other teams in China and in India that serve to kind of round out our capabilities. We're one of 12 Sitecore Platinum partners, and we do a bunch of Sitecore stuff. So, any questions about that? All right. A lot of times customers talk about the journey to digital transformation, and that's certainly a message we want to be sensitive to as developers. We want to enable them to kind of take this journey. But oftentimes what we see is that the customer actually needs to take a journey before they can take the journey. I don't know if you guys are seeing a lot of that, right? But oftentimes the customer has a lot of work to do before they can even really start the journey of digital transformation, right? They recognize that the landscape is changing. They recognize there's more that they want to do with their site, oftentimes with the same teams, the same size team, the same budgets, right? They don't oftentimes get a huge influx of cash to do this, so they're being asked more and more to do more with less or more with the same. And part of that, it's not only customers that aren't using Sitecore, it's sometimes customers that are on the Sitecore platform too. Oftentimes customers start with kind of a CMS-only view of the world. They're really interested in kind of publishing content, getting content out there available. Customers are very often interested in responsive web, and they want to be there for devices because they recognize how important that is and how widely used they are. How many of us don't have a device in our pocket or somewhere nearby house, right? There's so much of that traffic on the web that's coming from devices today. Most of our customers are showing 55 to 58% of the traffic on their public websites are driven by devices. And we're seeing now more and more, not only public websites, but also intranets. They're going, hey, we're adopting more of a bring your own device to work type of thing, and customers are using that iPad, or they're using that iPhone, or they're using that Android device more and more to access what we have on the intranet. So it's not just public web. It's a broader portfolio, but we're seeing a lot of the customers that have, even on the Sitecore stack, that are just really scratching the surface of what Sitecore is able to do. And the, as part of that, they have not only a change to potentially put a new tool in place, right? Do something like move to the Sitecore platform or implement a new search tool like Coveo, but oftentimes there are process and people changes that need to be made as well, right? They need to retool people. The analogy that I like to use from a development standpoint is that in the, kind of in the old world of website development, anytime the business wanted to make a change, it was effectively the equivalent of having to climb in the backseat of the car and flagging down a developer that could take the keys and get behind the wheel and could actually drive them where they need to go. But with Sitecore, the rules have changed. The analogy has changed a little bit, and more we see the need on the part of the business to be self-enabled, right, for lack of a better way to put it. They don't want to have to always go back to the development team to make this change. And so the analogy has really become, we're giving the marketing team and the business users oftentimes, we're giving them the keys to the car, and we're saying you can drive yourself, but that doesn't mean that IT doesn't have a role. It means that IT's role within the organization has changed a little bit. So now, rather than primarily being responsible for driving the car, IT's role is to make sure there are no potholes on the road, to make sure that the lines and the lanes are all clearly marked, and sometimes if there's a sharp turn, we need to put a guardrail up so that the business user who's now behind the wheel doesn't end up off the road down the cliff, right? So there's a change that needs to be made there. Part of these changes are they're being driven by a number of different things, but one of the primary drivers of change is other organizations that are changing. I think we've heard, and I'm sure you guys could reference, when we talk about disruptors within the marketplace, I'm sure you guys could reference a number of customers that fall into that disruptor category. Companies like Amazon is frequently mentioned, Uber is frequently mentioned, right? Airbnb. How many people have used Uber? Right? I think that's literally every hand in the room. And you're talking about a company that's like 4 years old, and suddenly everybody in here has been a customer of that company at one point or another. Why is Uber a disruptor? It's not a trick question. There's no right or wrong answer, right? But we always hear them mentioned as, hey, they're a disruptor. What made them disruptive? What's allowed them to be successful? Really, what does Uber do? They do technology. Created a new model. They've created a new, maybe it's. How many people took a cab before Uber? How many people had to call a cab? Not living in a big city where you just fly one down, but had to call a cab. So as somebody that had to do that on a fairly regular basis sometimes, I can tell you one of the biggest frustrations, anytime you call a cab company, the first thing the dispatcher tells you is the cab's going to be there in 10 to 15 minutes. And 25 minutes later, when the cab's not there and you call back, you know what the dispatcher's going to tell you? The cab's going to be there in 10 to 15 minutes. Right? And Uber recognized this and said, hey, we can put technology in place to solve the problem of not really having any ability to know where the car is really at. We're going to show you the car on your map. We're going to show you where you are. We're going to provide that in a safe and secure, somewhat, right, safe and secure way, because we're going to give ratings for drivers, right? We're going to enable that. And oh, by the way, sometimes, I don't know if you guys ever ran into this problem, but one of my biggest frustrations when I just got into the airport and I've got a meeting downtown at 11 o'clock and I catch the cab, the guy's driving. So you know what he can't do while he's driving? He can't run my credit card. So he pulls up in front of the meeting where I'm supposed to be in the office at 11 o'clock, and it's 10:59, and I'm running late, and then he goes, credit or cash? Right, and so I've got to take my card, I hand it to him, he's got one of those old school carbon copy things, right, and then 3 minutes later, I get a receipt, and I'm off, right? So Uber recognized that as well, and they use technology to allow me to do something really transformational. Oh wait, it's not really transformational. In fact, we've been doing e-commerce for like 15 years before Uber came along. Really, all they did was allow us to build on that, right? My point in giving you that background, Uber is often mentioned as a disruptor. Uber didn't really do anything that wasn't being done in a lot of other places already. They just brought it to their market, and they brought it to the customer base that they were trying to appeal to. And they kind of pulled in a few, they didn't suddenly invent some new form of space travel or a hovercraft or a jetpack that I could buy for $50, right? Is it transformational? Very incrementally so, right? But technology allowed them to take these leaps. The connection that they took with their customer, ultimately what Uber did is Uber recognized the friction that people had with other vendors in the marketplace, and they lowered that bar, they reduced that friction. And in reducing that friction, they almost overnight, right, became one of the most valuable companies ever in the history, ever in the history of the world by just reducing a little bit of friction that consumers saw. And so there's a lot of outside pressure due to the success stories of companies like Uber that all of these executives are now feeling. They're going, hey, I've got to do the same thing. If I don't make it easier for my customers to do business with me, if I don't do a better job of engaging with my customers, somebody else is going to. And if somebody else does, I'm out of a job. I'm out of a job, right? So this whole aspect of digital transformation is really being forced by a lot of the outside influences and consumer or executives being able to see what's happening in other organizations. So Sitecore is a great answer to that. It helps support and really bring together kind of the development and the marketing wing. So we're going to talk about this just a little bit. How many people watch Seinfeld? Anybody Seinfeld fans? A few Seinfeld fans here. So one of my favorite Seinfeld episodes is called the Yada Yada. Anybody ever seen the Yada Yada? And in the Yada Yada, Jerry he goes to the dentist, and so he's sitting in the chair at the dentist's office, and the dentist has got his hands down his mouth, and the dentist tells a somewhat off-color joke about Jews. And Jerry, who happens to be Jewish, is very offended and rebukes the dentist. And the dentist, by the way, happens to be a guy by the name of Bryan Cranston, who would go on later to become Walter White and be known for something other than the dentist in Seinfeld. But the dentist makes an off-color joke, and Jerry rebukes him for the joke. And the dentist says, well, hey, it's okay for me to make this joke. Anybody remember why he said that? Because I've just become a Jew. I've just converted to Judaism, so it's okay for me to make a joke about Jews. And Jerry rebukes him and says, no, I don't buy that at all. You just became Jewish for the jokes. You can't do that, right? And it serves to try to get the guy kicked out of faith or whatever. But why am I telling you this background? I'm gonna be a little mean over the next slide or two to some of the developers, and that's okay because I'm a developer. I can do that because I'm a developer, right? So that's my background, right? As a developer and architect. I'm gonna stop hitting this table. As a developer and as an architect, right, there are a lot of things that we know and understand about Sitecore. We know how to call APIs, we know how to configure Sitecore, right? We know how to tap into pipelines and events and notifications, and we know how to build custom workflows, and we know how to configure caching, and we're worried about things like performance and security and scalability and uptime and things like that, right? Those are things that the developer is concerned about. And that's great. Those are things we should be concerned about. There's this other breed of kind of digital marketer that's now being brought into the equation. And they don't know and understand some of those same things. This says marketers understand, by the way. I could have written this slide and said, here are the things that most developers don't understand. Because most developers, right, the first thing that we think about is not how do I measure engagement on a website. Right? That's not what I think about as a developer. As a developer, I say, what's the spec that I'm going to build this thing to? Right? Give me my requirements. I'm not interested in that. I don't know, as a developer, typically I'm not thinking about how to create goals or how to measure engagement. I'm not thinking about whether or not there's value in a particular transaction, right? That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about what KPIs are relevant. I'm not thinking about, which components on the page should I personalize and how should I do that. I'm not here to think about that. And part of that is just because of our nature and background, oftentimes. Part of that is due to the fact that, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of our customers in the Sitecore space are starting with a lot of our customers in the Sitecore space are starting with kind of that CMS only mode, and so that's contributing to that as well. But these are the things the marketers are looking for. At the end of the day, one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to kind of level set. We want the developer to understand not only their context. I don't expect them to be experts in all of these items, but I want them to understand the relevancy and the importance of this to the overall customer experience. Right? Not going to be an expert in this, but you need to understand that this is important to the overall success of the website. And if the development that I'm doing doesn't allow for and take into account and support these types of things, ultimately the overall website is going to be limited in terms of what it's able to accomplish in the way that it's able to be used by the customer. So we've got to define the right expectations, both from the development team and from the marketing team. And this just in, we don't have enough really good marketers in the Sitecore space, right? There are a lot of really good marketers who understand marketing for other tools, or who understand marketing at a very agnostic level, but it never really worked in Sitecore a lot. We need more Sitecore marketers. That's my plea to you guys. But in order to be successful with digital marketing in a Sitecore-based environment, there are a few things we need to do. One, kind of what we call the crawl, walk, run approach, right? Some of our customers, and Mark and I were talking about this earlier, some of our customers go, great, I want to personalize everything everywhere, and I've got 5 personas. We go, great, you need to create 5 times the content. And they go, wait, what? I can't do that. That's not a realistic goal, right? So you've got to be smart about where you want to start sprinkling in personalization, where you want to start taking advantage of analytics on a very kind of incremental scale. There's got to be a team in place, as I mentioned, both from a development standpoint and from a digital marketing standpoint. I've got to understand that this is a stepwise progression, that it's going to take time to get there. And I've got to be able to communicate as a marketer, I've got to be able to communicate some of my needs and some of my requirements back to the development team in order to allow them to be successful. And where that starts is with engaging them as part of the digital strategy of the website, understanding, making sure the entire team, both development and the marketers, understand what success for the website looks like. There are a few, kind of in the interest of time, I'm going to skip through most of this, right? There's a few specific goals on here that I think we can do, but I want to kind of jump to some calls to action here at the end. Number one is, as a developer, a lot of times we look at the work that we're doing as being, quote unquote, the important stuff, and I go, you know what, I got to build all the important stuff first, and then if I can go back and add some of these marketing features, I will. The marketing features are just as important as all the important stuff that we're already working on. And so we need to do a better job of making sure that a marketing team is engaged at the outset to understand the impact of analytics, to understand the impact of search, the impact that it has on the site. Sitecore has a number of kind of readiness checklists to make sure you're building a site that's going to allow the customer to move and take further advantage of the digital marketing aspects of the platform later on. One of the things I was talking about with a couple of people just earlier as we were kind of grabbing some pizza. One of the things we mentioned was there are a number of customers that we're talking to now that have implemented Sitecore in a headless fashion. And what they've done is they've taken a very traditional kind of in-tiered SOA type architecture, and they've taken that same point of view to Sitecore. And so they've built a facade layer over Sitecore's APIs. And yes, that works if all I'm doing is serving content, but when I suddenly need the context of the user, I'm limited. And I've either got to rewrite all of that functionality that Sitecore has at that context level, all of those personalization rules, the ability to configure them, I've got to rebuild all of that for myself, or I don't get it at all. Right? And so a lot of times the architectural decisions that we make have a big impact later on. We've got to view the marketing aspect as really a full member of the platform itself, right? We've got to understand their requirements and make sure that's fully enabled. So there's some readiness checklists that will help with that. One of the other things we've seen quite a bit lately is we've seen customers that said, I don't need workflow, so I just decided to turn workflow off. And then they come back later and they complain, hey, I'm not really sure this Sitecore platform, I'm not sure what it's all about because it doesn't have a preview environment. What are you talking about? Like, of course it does, right? We get in and we start working with them and we're like, where's your workflow? Well, I turned it off. And oh, by the way, everybody's logging in as administrator. I'm like, well, that's why you don't have a preview environment, right? You've effectively gone around your preview environment, right? So we've got to understand some of those implications. We've got to look to engage, at the end of the day, we've got to look to engage the digital marketers earlier in the process in order to get their input and make sure that the solution that we're building meets not only the technical goals and objectives for kind of a CMS implementation on day one, but we're able to extend and take advantage of the digital marketing features of the platform because that's where Sitecore is going, that's where the market's going, and ultimately as developers, in order to stay relevant and stay working on exciting cutting-edge projects, those are the types of applications that we need to be able to support. There are also some add-ons, enhancements, upgrades, and other things that the digital marketers can provide along the way, and that's what Rick is going to come in and speak to us about.
I have 2 slides because I am a marketer. I don't want stuff thrown at me. So I just want to go back to it with the important stuff. It's you and I were talking about this earlier. That's table stakes for marketers. we have to be able to measure, A/B test, be able to personalize, be able to work in engagement programs. But there are pieces that go beyond that, and I just, we're trying to level set between development and marketers, and this is the pieces that Sitecore is talking about to marketing professionals. I'm going out and talking to you about, but there are pieces that go beyond, and I'm saying this is like delivering beyond out of the box. And many of these are probably very familiar with you, but these are the kind of pieces that a marketer says, of course I should have this. This is beyond the being able to A/B test, but I'm going to call it the email experience manager 3.3. That's fine. 3.3 is now, and it'll be out. Was it 3? Yeah, now I think they're going to be out with another one. It's going to be out of the box, the cycle by the end of the year. Even Sitecore is saying this is not, a marketing automation. It's not replacing that part of it, but it is a tool for engagement plans, and it is something to create that functionality that can drive rules, that can drive personalization. So I'm just like that, going down the list for marketers. There's important pieces for each of these. Every client I've talked to has needed federated. Not only gathering data before the install is done. Everyone familiar with federated? The functionality, I'm assuming. All right, I don't want to assume that's the piece I want to kind of bridge that gap. But to be able to query other sites and get that data, be able to personalize on other websites. I don't walk into many customers that don't have multiple sites. Even portals and internal, they may want to reach into. Print Experience Manager, run into a couple insurance companies that want to work with that because it's very valuable to them. Web Forms for marketers, I think, is a must-have. Especially the ability for a marketer to be able to create a goal that's based on click without having to reach back to them and bother you guys every time. That's kind of that win-win that I keep preaching to developers and we're talking to customers. If you've got your marketing group here, your IT saying, come on, let us control that, and they're saying, please let us control that. To me, let them control it in marketing as far as from the day-to-day stuff. So that can be, and IT can be focusing on the bigger picture and the longer improvements. And that little ability to insert a form here and there and have a click that then drives a goal to create more personalization, et cetera, very important. Campaign Creator is an easier tool to quickly create campaigns and track them. List Manager ties back to the email. Experience Manager and Experience Extractor is a tool that allows you to quickly pull out all the data from Sitecore and put another BI tool. And now, obviously, with the latest version with device and geolocation detection apps and the social apps, those are nice to have for sure. And I think that all of these are going to be, the next level should be out of the box. And then lastly, which will bring me over to site search. I think you'll notice this might segue into Coveo a little bit, but this, site search is, I was saying earlier today that I don't think that saying site search is the new nav is new anymore, but I think it's the case. I think site search is the way most people, especially mobile devices, go out and find content on the site. Everyone's in a hurry. Everyone's got to just go. So they just go, in many cases, will go drive right to search. So I find that in most clients, they're looking at how many servers do I have to spin up? What is this license going to cost me? And search is somewhere as an afterthought. And I think as Sitecore professionals, we have to be preaching that into the builds. They have to understand that there are different levels of it. Obviously, there's different levels of maturity, different levels of development involved. And I think that it has to be part of that initial conversation and carried all the way through, especially when you can start to drive personalization. And that's what they're all talking about. How do I test? How do I personalize? And then to be able to throw a search tool on and say, now based on that search query, I can come back and personalize, and to be able to, in a solution like Coveo, which you'll see, to be able to actually have my personas and my profiles actually drive search results, and that cross-talking, it's just a very powerful tool to be able to do it. So, point being, shouldn't be an afterthought, it should be part of that conversation all along the way. Which leads me to Coveo.
That's us.
I will add just two quick housekeeping things I did miss. There is some Sitecore swag, some buttons, things like that. I'm sure you probably got a shirt. And then there will be a raffle later for some of us. Thank you.
Start by sharing the screen.
So thanks again everyone for joining us today. It's our turn now, and we're going to be discussing, I'll be introducing very briefly about Coveo, the work we'll be doing with Sitecore, and then Nick will get into the demo with all the detailed information. But just to follow up to the flow that Rick presented, search sometimes is thought as a second phase in any website project. But actually, nowadays, everyone's like, just Google it. It's something that we just go and look in our browser to find whatever we're looking for. So visitors mainly are looking to get this kind of experience in any website. So we're going to be able to show you this experience. So, but before that, I'll introduce ourselves. My name is Isabel Tinoco. I'm risk manager for the Coveo for Sitecore line of business, and with me, Nick Bauer, product manager for the Coveo for Sitecore. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, perfect. So here, very briefly about Coveo. We are all about intelligent search technologies. We are headquartered in Quebec City, Canada, and we have a couple of locations in the US as well as in Europe. We have so far more than 1,500 implementations with the 3 lines of business that we cover. But today we're going to be focusing on the Coveo for Sitecore line of business. More than 300 joint customers with Sitecore. So this brings us to be one of the 3 top technology platinum level partners for Sitecore. And also we're very happy and proud to be recognized as one of the top visionary leader player in the Magic Quadrant partner. And here very briefly about the 3 lines of business that we have. So platform is the one that we started, classic enterprise search. We have a wide variety of connectors. That one is available on cloud and as well as on premise. Coveo for Salesforce is another line of business that we have, a native integration that we can index Salesforce content with external content as well to presenting, for instance, the Salesforce community for technical support and things like that. And now we're going to be covering the line of business Microsoft, so .NET, which for now it's Coveo for Sitecore. With them, we have a native integration that started as a connector, but it's been some years now, and it's within the same platform, and you'll get to see more details about it. Here's some of the current users of all the 3 lines of business. So here you have the different verticals, high tech. You have good names there, Salesforce, GoPro, that we're going to go and check what's the experience of the website visitor when they're using search. The other vertical, manufacturing, financial services as well, and other verticals. So if you don't have any questions, it's not these kinds of.
Okay, before I start, how many of you have worked with Coveo or know about Coveo for Sitecore? How many of you know about Coveo for Sitecore? So we're now introducing the version 4 of Coveo for Sitecore. We've been working with Sitecore for something like 6 years now. We were held with version 3 before version 4, obviously. Version 3 was the first one we was using the integration of within the service provider of Sitecore. This version is also using the version of the service provider, but it's also offering connection to our client platform. Let me show you. So that's a quick slide to show that we have a best practice book that you can get on our website to find out what we think is good search to help you drive a good search on your website. Quickly skip over that one and more talk about the integration of the elements of Sitecore. So this new version, I covered those 3 topics. It's really indexed in the cloud. Really easier to provision, really for our it's really easier to work with the index in the cloud and have to manage the index yourself. It leverages also an advanced feature from the Coveo Cloud platform. Cloud computing is a really different way to work. On our side, we can do way more advanced things. Machine learning is the main feature of that platform. We'll cover that later on in the presentation. And the third point is that we still work with the Sitecore service provider. So we still work with all the computers that you use to work. So if you build an index in the platform, you see my solar, we still work with that same stuff. You can simply work with Coveo the same way you used to work with those indexes in terms of configuring the indexing. In terms of UI, it's different, but in terms of indexing and configuring content, it's the same thing. It still work like it used to be working in version 3. This version only supports Sitecore 7.2 now. The reason it's simple. With 7.2, Sitecore is now supporting multiple indexes at the same time. Since we now create different indexes on the site, and we need to have Sitecore to run the receipt, or Solar to run the basic behavior of Sitecore. That's why we only support 7.2 now. Nowadays, most of customers are running at 7.2. 8.2 is coming soon this summer. A bit more details. So the index in the cloud, what are the main benefits of having the index in the cloud? Provisioning is seamless. Upgrades, or you don't need to do any upgrades. We take care of the index in our cloud platform. It's provisioned within minutes. So as soon as you deploy our small package into Sitecore, you don't need to deploy all the indexing stuff. You just need to deploy a small package into Sitecore to use the cloud index. And then at the end of this deployment, you'll be prompted to start a trial or to use your license. If you start a trial, it'll start bringing the index into the cloud for you, and you'll be able to read the index for content within minutes. It used to take, let's say, a few hours to be able to deploy everything, configure everything. I feel really thankful. I think I'll be okay. Yeah, so it's really faster to deploy. It's a cloud service. We take care of everything. It's a cloud. It's a pure SaaS solution. So we maintain the indexes up and running. We have cloud team that's running everything. You can be assured that you'll always get the best performances of the index without needing to monitor anything. We take care of them time, and we'll define you if there's any problem with the platform. No need for Coveo for this hardware. It's kind of hard nowadays to get servers to provision to run additional software. With the cloud version of it, you just need to have your regular Sitecore server, and you can provision anything else to run Coveo and run on our cloud. The platform is highly available and scalable, and it's elastic and scale with demand. So if you have a minute free per day, or if you have 10 free per day, the platform will simply scale to match your needs. Most of the platform is multi-tenant, so queries will go through pipeline. We have currently have millions of queries coming today with our next customer. Adding an installed Sitecore site to this lot of queries is a small amount for us, and it's just made to scale. Those are web services coming from Amazon actually that are made to scale. Best of breed security. There's two aspects to this topic here. So Coveo used to be an enterprise search platform. So security is really important for us. So security within Sitecore is really complex. There's groups at multiple levels. We index all that security. Security is within the index within document. So as you query as one person, you only get document that matches your recurring profile, your user actually. And the same applies if you mix content from Sitecore from any other sources. We have something like 50 different connectors. If you index email, you can index SharePoint, you can index other website, forums, Lithium community, Salesforce community, you can index something else. If this content is secured, it's behind your login page. Rest assured it's not only searchable document with us, also document. The other aspect of security is the platform itself. We take care of our security. Most of our customer update preparation, we're trying to be able to run with Salesforce environment, and also internal website search, internal enterprise search. Sorry. So our platform is SOC compliant. It's currently SOC 1, Type 1 and 2, also SOC 2, Type 1 compliant. We're currently deploying a new environment and having on to SOC compliant. We're looking to implement FedRAMP at some months of the in that next year, but at some point we'll be FedRAMP compliant as well. We're always trying to improve the compliance platform. We know the platform is secure. We have very good practice to be able to make the platform. It's only a matter of setting up those platforms, those compliance and how to do a quick demo of the installation flow. Basically, you go to our website. You can download the small package, the Sitecore version 4 integration package, and then you can go into Sitecore. Sitecore will deploy our package. It contains our integration, our version of the search provider of Sitecore, the connection between Sitecore to our index for indexing, document querying, and everything. And then this is a small wizard that's run after the facts. So first, you're prompted to connect to our cloud platform. You can use multiple providers. We currently support Google, Salesforce, and Office 365 as login provider. Once you log to our platform, you can then either connect to a license that you as a customer or your customer in the direct purchase. You can pick that license, and I say that license will be different here. I'm going to start a trial study, another trial from there. And then we you see what we're doing. So most of the customers we're going to change how the document are indexed to index the HTML version of their pages, not only the Sitecore metadata, but also an HTML representation of their items. So this is now powered the wizard, and there's multiple steps like that to configure security. You just have to run that wizard. It'll take something like 5 minutes, and at the end you're ready to get the next content against the cloud index. You can build search pages here. Obviously, the more content you have, the longer it is to index, but after 5 minutes, you're ready to start indexing that content. Advanced cloud feature, we'll have a few demo around those. Let's talk about those first. I don't know how we're doing demos from there, but that's something I'll have to talk to think about. This is analytics. So with the Coveo platform, everything that is done within the search interface is stored into our analytics. So every keyword that I type into queries, every facet that you document, we're storing everything, every action that we do against Coveo 1 is stored into our cloud platform. Then you get a simple UI to go there to see what are the current trends on my content, what people are searching on, what they're searching on, what they're getting forwarded to the sense that they have to switch page, they have to filter page using facets. So what are those comments from the Reddit scout guide to them? You also get suggested in terms of content. Yeah, you are going to my site, you go to the search box, they explicitly tell them that they want this information, but there's no content. Here I have reports on that, so that you see that you can tag this content either the content that you already have, create tables, synonym, those kind of things, or maybe it's simply creating content for those keywords. Or according to the site, that's the version about that. Maybe you want to create content to serve your needs. The next two features, metadata tuning and intelligent query suggestion, are actually the new features that we have, which are powered by Reveal, which is our machine learning technology. We covered those one in this next slide. Also, we had a demo about that one. The next one in that slide, cloud admin. So we have using the cloud platform. You now have an admin UI where you can go into the content with your index, what is the index, the sources, curiosity is set up. You can document the field that you have there. You can also do analytics from there. You can create, change the data ranking algorithm. You can configure everything that you have on search engine within one single admin UI. Even with the on-premise edition of Coveo, we have multiple tools around that you have to connect to do different tasks. With the cloud platform, everything is within one single instance. It's very easier to manage. A bit more about Reveal. So I just said it earlier. It's our new machine learning technology. Now that we're on cloud, we're able to use new calculating the cloud to be able to run create new models to improve redundancy. Basically, what Reveal is doing, it's looking at user analytics data. People are going on your website to try to find trends out of this data and build models to serve those trends. If somebody's coming to your website, correctly word, if somebody, you see people already saying the interaction with the search at some point, Reveal will take those interactions and will be baked in the ranking algorithm. One thing interesting about Reveal is that you can configure it to have specific outcomes. So by default, Reveal will look at successful search session to try to optimize those scenarios. Successful search session for Coveo is somebody coming to your website, doing a query, and then taking a document. That's a search session. So if they add a query, you click on a document, they read that document, they didn't type it in any more query, that's a search session. If you want to go further, you can create your own specific outcome. If you want to have more likes on Facebook, more in social interaction, more products sold on your website. It's up to you to store more information in Coveo analytics, and then use those sessions as training to Reveal. If you want to solve more items on your website, simply have to log into Coveo analytics that an item has been solved. If a search session needs to solve an item, those sessions are used to train Reveal. And it will try to optimize those scenarios this way. Now let's switch to a quick digital reveal.
For your chance.
We deserve, but this is the Logitech website. Actually, this is the support website of Logitech. And just told me yesterday that he went there to find some information on this. And it's not also keyboard, I'm not sure yet. Keyboard. But it's a place where you can go to find information on your Logitech products. So we run this portal. It's currently a Salesforce portal, but it's the same technology. They use our UI, they track your research interaction, your scoring into our model. They use reveals to drive evidence in that story. And this is a small temporary launching script that allows you to disable or enable reveal. Specifically on the website, that's the only way my script that handles problems. So if I disable reveal and I come here and I search for mouse, I'll get those mouses. So this is the basic ranking of the search engine. It's usually seeing Solar Elastic, or it should get something like that. Because those documents were created recently. They have the mouse keyword, a lot of time in the description and in the title, so they naturally come up. Those are the default results. Logitech decided not to implement too much logic themselves to matter the distance, but they decided only to check the data reveal after 2 months of data. Actually, it was Logitech it was 2 days of collecting statistics and research. If you have to reveal, you can see that the default results coming from search engine are on those. And obviously, if you're doing those are the mouses that you know about. Those are the mouses that people click on, and when they search for mouse, that's what they click. Next use case this is possible for people to think about the marketing team going to the index and focus. So for this launch, all the analysis are these ones. So they associate some few mouse with kind of top results or featured results. And for mouse, I want those to be rendered. For keyboards, I want those to be rendered. For cameras, I want those to be rendered. But it's a manual job. With reveal, you just have to be revealed and get those kind of ranking out of the box. If you go to this word here, MX5500, this is a series of keyboard and mouses from Logitech. In this case, reveal is able to find out that there's a match between this keyword, which is MX most names 5500, and in the documentation of Sitecore itself. Logitech. They're using the MXDN phase 5500 Logitech nomenclature. In that, there's no natural match for this keyword. Yeah, you would have to tag your content with multiple versions in keywords. Reveal is able to find out that people who are going to the website try typing those keywords correctly before you put the actual writing nomenclature first. And then you can go to talk from those. Reveal learn from those patterns as well. The more we go into the example, it's getting more and more hard for people to maintain this kind of scenario. So we would have to look at the search statistics on the website. People are using those and those keywords, so I should probably create headers and trees, and then you have to manage those headers and trees to change your product. There's a mix between different ways to make products. It can be rather complex and it's a full-time job, and that's the best job you have to do. And there are two examples which are simply impossible to think about managing manually. So CQAY 59, this is the receiver part number of this mouse here. Even Logitech was confused to know what is CQAY 59. If you search into their Salesforce data, there's just no hit for this keyword. But looking at search session of people who are searching for this keyword, we can find that people manually correct recording to go and find that B220 is actually the mouse that they have in their hand. We looked at the receiver to find that part number, but it's looking at the analogy first recorded. So, and then we can see that people, when they search for CY59, they click on the results that confirm that's a good pattern. We're able to work with that pattern and we'll keep it into the model. Having people that, if you don't even know yourself what is CY59, then you have to open Coveo, see logs. So people who are searching for distance query, they end up with this result. Okay, now I know what CY59 is. I don't know where it comes from, but I probably need to create a new those two. Manual job, you don't want to have to do this. Let the deal work from pattern to your data. If you have a question as we speak, any customer in mind, any question, anything, just don't hesitate to ask those questions as we go. So that's kind that introduction for medical listening. If you move to the Salesforce portal, they also use what I'm doing in the Salesforce. What I'm going to show you here is advanced query suggestion. Query suggestion with Coveo used to be based on your Sitecore items. So if you have fields on your Sitecore items, those can be used to suggest query. You also used to be able to take for this queries from visitors to suggest them to further to visitors. But there was no way to find out if those queries were good, if they need to do a result, if they need to resolve at all. Now with Reveal, we have statistics on those queries. We know if they're good, if you want. If I search for Outlook, I'm being suggested out of this query I tried. Salesforce for Outlook download, sync Outlook calendar with Salesforce. Those are all queries that were made by visitors coming to the Salesforce site. They need the results and they need the successful session. Even further, Salesforce decided to track case open on their support portal after search. So if the search session leads to a case being open, that's probably not a successful session. Since somebody clicked on the document, they read those documents, but they ended up opening a case at Salesforce. So it's not successful since they had to open the case. Salesforce goal is to take the session. You want to have people open to the site, find the right document, don't open a case, leave the site with the answer to their questions. So those queries lead to people resolving their issues. Another thing we can do with machine learning and the data of visitors, the actual data of the website, is advanced kind of digital means as on previous time. So this is the Outlook installer. Let's try to type with all my comments. Then you get to understand that since there's Outlook word in the Salesforce index, we can correct that keyword Outlook. Same thing for installer, and then we propose a few other words for integration, Outlook, installation, installer. Those are actual query from visitors, but then since we have access to the statistics, your document, your whatever you have built a document, your dictionary, your document, we're able to provide different query suggestions. Those are the two first use cases that we have available with Reveal. They were available since last September, I think, in Salesforce, in our Salesforce integration. Now with Sitecore, since we run it and we can run the cloud platform, those use cases are also available for Sitecore customer. So if you want to use those use cases on your customer, you'll be able to use them for relevance and for suggestion on Sitecore websites. As I mentioned before, Reveal is a platform. We're starting to build on Reveal. There's going to be something like, not a third, but maybe a fourth of the company is working on Reveal analytics data. We're trying to build more drills. So what we call drills is a mechanism that builds into the data, trying to extract information. So now we have top results, top clicks, range between automatic synonyms. We're trying to build more and more use cases around the data. We're starting with a two customer, and we also have those scenarios available for a current customer will be able to make them available for Sitecore customer and others. So there's a lot of investment into Reveal, and you can count on us that most feature will still be improved over time. From there, you can either go back to two slides, or I can stay there and show you. I'll stay here. I'll show you the actual platform and what we do with Sitecore. So what's the product of Sitecore? Let's start by showing you a Sitecore instance. So this is a launch Sitecore instance. Kind of carrying that instance in which I've deployed for the also Sitecore. I've rebuilt the indexes and I've created a small search page. So once you deploy the small package of Sitecore, the first thing you're asked to do is to connect our cloud platform, like I showed earlier, to get your license and get connected to the cloud platform. Once this wizard is done, which takes something like 5 minutes to get the wizard done, maybe not even 5 minutes, we'll go into the wizard and then 5 more minutes to probably do the index on our side. Once this is done, you're able to go to Sitecore and rebuild your index. Like I mentioned before, we still work with service providers, so you can do the Sitecore, you can see those indexes. Now we have the master index for the web by default. If you want to create more indexes, you can create more indexes. If you have other databases, you can index more content. Back to you with that available. And then as you go to the read the button, if you are using the cloud version, all the documents will be pushed to our cloud platform using the push API of the cloud platform. If you show you the cloud platform, this is the Coveo cloud platform. This is what you get when you purchase the cloud license. You get access to this environment to be able to store your document with sources. In that case, I have two sources, so I can see the same source here, Coveo master index, Coveo web index. Those are created as I go into Sitecore, as I read the button. Those sources are configured for me. I don't need to go and understand how they work with your different. Same thing for the fields, all the custom data that you create in Sitecore, all those templates that you create new data for your customer as because they all have custom needs. They all can be created on every there. Same thing for security. So just by hitting the radio button, the platform is configured to get the content. Once the content is pushed into those sources, then you can view with the content done, you can view what content has been indexed. So you have facet here based on the sources, like you can do either your web or web content. You can search for this content on this site here as people. So right now I have this here is the master version, this is the web version. So I have two items on index those two versions. As you're creating your content within Sitecore, playing with the master database, you can also create search experience and do that content actually within search. You don't need to wait for that content to be production. As you create content, as you create new way, as you develop the site, you can see Coveo interacting with this content as you work with it. If you want to see details about those documents, you can simply expand it. And now we see what's in the index. So this document title, Tim Gardner, containing all those fields that you can search for. You can then search for different titles, different fields in the index, and you can do which index. Those fields will be helpful to help you build a special interface later on. You'll be able to use all of this data will be returned by the index query. You'll be able to build a result layout. You'll be able to build facet using those fields. You'll be able to do scoring based on those fields. So it's way easier than having to download new to see content index and play with those open source APIs. Develop like you have an open source tool to be able to see what's in your index. It's there, it's available, it's more than other bugs. If you want to draw this little content, we support a few number of sources. Currently, we have all of those sources available in the platform. We have support many more connections. They're actually mostly on-premise connected. The tenant will not be very on-premise connected to module. So a little bit more small on your on-premises, on your internal enterprise. To connect to something like Exchange or SharePoint sites, online SharePoint, but if you have something on premise, to be able to connect to those on-premise systems to be able to push documents. Right now, there's also install different type of web, you can call web pages, to do web connectivity, RSS feeds, call YouTube, call Zip or Playing Time, some tools to do all the types of systems. And all those systems that we have here, which is like we go against an API, so we get more and more systems that way. So we get obviously we have the things. We get everything that's under the hood at the API. Those are the ways to really be more connected. If you want to call something else, say you're migrating a site from a customer inside, you have two new sites which are in Sitecore, but there's still 8 which are not inside of this. You can call 2 with the site migration, and then you have 8 other ones with the web connector, and you can install all this content with the Sitecore website. Yeah, content. So you can do content, you can create content. Then if you want to play with search on that content, that section here, which you can play with the search pipelines. Those pipelines, you should create multiple pipelines because you typically have multiple use cases of search on your website. We see that most of our customers will do kind of generic searching and public content. But most of our customers also use Coveo to drive listing pages. If you have evidence, if you have white papers, if you have case studies, if you have large amount of one type of item on your website, products, or you can have them do multiple times on your website. People will use Coveo to list content, and then it's easy to have facets to those lists. Sorting those lists, those are out of the box and search yourself and simply add to your listing pages. Same thing for search let's see what it's what those yeah, the first two here are reveals. So you can come here reveal. There's similar feature results and ways to achieve for results. Or you can do it results for yours. Software is so working to exclusively work to perform training, especially ways and the logic the index one. I know on my website for us really important. So for every document, I want to have some of their points of results to create those businesses. But anyway, this is basically how the data came up into the word of the next. But you want to change how the way you work works, yeah, change those lines. The casing my documents to bring that to really got the data directly. But I know the title is really important. I love a copper people review the title and not feel really good. Okay, so in this is the kind of the summary of the Coveo that is intended. But you get in here, you get the data traffic. So for this week, we're going to see an average of 10 to 40 per day. Typically on a typical website, you'll see that in the weekend, queries upload, but you'll see that they come back on the week after because there's something more people working during the week actually. You can also see that the click counts, how many people are clicking on when you perform a query, how many people are clicking on those queries. In this case, almost half people who are performing query are also clicking documents. You want to have that click threshold as high as possible. You want people to do one query and click on the results. Reveal when you actually reveal, when you test the pipeline, you'll be able to see that knowledge is coming up. You can see lots of data. We collect lots of information on all sorts of sessions. We collect country, country browser. We collect lots of information between the forums. Obviously, we collect the keywords that are being used. Same thing for keywords. And we also build a list of documents. So those documents, whatever the query is being made, those documents are being mostly clicked on. So this is good content that you choose for your content authors to create more content around those documents. You can also do content gaps. Content gaps are often interesting for Sitecore customers. You want to know what people are coming to your site, you can type something in the query box, you know, that they want something around the data. But let you know that there's simply no results for those queries. So you probably want to create new yeah, so basically you can see that those queries no results. You want to either tag this content, either tag those keywords on other pieces of content, any create content, and back optimize readiness, so you're bringing content to the primary. You can build your own dashboard. You can customize your dashboard. You can do a lot of things. Dashboards, it's there. We provide you with report by default if you put it in forms of this. You can also filter the results for the program to see all the content gaps. You can decide to see content gaps per browser. You can see content gaps per country, per whatever dimension you want to have. So you can go in there and drill into those report to see whatever you want to see. You want to not only have content gaps for the together, that is filter and see content gap and stable only there might be some difference. Maybe you will have different pipelines from different region. Maybe search optimization could be different also for business. Basically, yeah, the data is there and you can act on it. Let me go back to Sitecore. So we were looking at what's available in Sitecore, the country space. Those are the indexes. In the next logical step after we deploy the Sitecore, index your content. We spend a lot of time here on the platform to show you what's there. The next logical step is to create a search page. You search on your website. I go over here, I have this search page, which is pre-configured. Pretty easy to configure. Basically, you can create any search page by simply starting a new search page and do it into your. You can also insert all of our components into the search page that you really page here on the website. If I go to the predictive from that page, this is a typical search page that you get once you index your content. So the default is you can go in there and you can define this UI to make it look and feel like the rest of your site. So we want to change all of those grid zones and tiles to make it reflect the rest of your site. Very easy. Everything is CSS. You just need to take our style sheet, change it to the rest of it to make it look like the rest of your site, and then make it good. The rest of the search page will look like the rest of your site. If you want to customize the result layout, it's embedded in the testing engine. It's HTML and JavaScript. You just need to create new templates. I want this field to be the same here. I want the image to be the same here. You create new templates. You can also associate different templates with different type of results. If you have the form member or the website, so you have the big picture. You're typing a short description. But for documentation, you just want to make sure it's vital, take no images, there's no image for those. You can create different result methods, they associate them to different type of results and things. And then if you want to customize as a developer or also as a content developer or marketer, you can go in there and there's multiple options to play with Coveo. First one here is actually cipher rules that we treat to output Coveo query expression. So if I go in here, I can do that. This interface is here doing data filtering by looking at content that is under the content node of the cipher items. And if you have layout. So every page that has layout in my content, it will be displayed, be searchable if you have it. And I also want to include every file or file section of the image library. By creating those rules, I'll be searching this content. That's part of these. Again, the same type of rules we can use to further refine ranking. So we've created ranking expression based directly within the index itself. If you have some specific rules that you want to apply at page level, you can apply them here. So within this interface, I'm currently giving more points to every team member. And that's really easy to hit. Any content offering that will work with those rules, and you change those rules. So yeah, I want to give more points to, I think there's a glossary section there. So I don't know where the glossary are. I know it's article groups. Article groups will get more points. So if I click OK here, if I click OK here, I'll see that those are team members, but now those are articles from the everything gets changed simply by creating those. And your author, the end user, customer of that site will be able to do it themselves. And it's just which experience. As their content grow, as they have more field, as they create new type of content, they're able to add this content to the page. It's not always there, and you're also able to change the recommend doing for your specific content itself to rely on the publishers. There's many more options. You can search, you can configure. Maybe the most interesting one is this one. So by default, the readiness that there's no every suggestion. So if you create that model on the platform, you'll get every suggestion for your review and if you prefer to use the search box as a search, just like in Google, where you actually type something, there's results coming under the search box. You can switch it to the example. Take the control over how to search the search box is being used. This is paging. If you want to have paging at the bottom of the page, how many pages it is, you can say how many results per page. When you have 9 results per page, somebody's changing between those types of things. You just need to go there and change the configuration. Same thing applied for if you want to add some content, just need to type in the native source if you want to add into that page here. Analytics data, if you want to send statistics also to Sitecore XDB, not only to Coveo, but also to the XDB. You want to be able to have search interaction with the XDB. So have a whole journey of a visitor into the Sitecore XDB. And you just need to check that box. And you're recording the accessibility that the text that is done from the search page will also be sent to Sitecore. One thing you can do out of the box is use those keywords to personalize the rest of your site. It's a little bit there for you to use. If you want to see what people are doing to experience and profile Sitecore, you'll be able to see all the page views done. I just did interaction with the Sitecore, you also do search interaction that is done with search. And then each one of those, you can custom on that, the data that we can use. So you can configure search, same thing about facets, same thing for sorting components, same thing for tabs. You can simply drag and drop the component in there. You can simply add a new type of facet in there. There's multiple types of facets. Those are real facet views, which is the most simple type of facet. You can use ranges for dates or price. If you do sliders, you have more granular control over, let's say, price of your products. You will be able to use sliders to set the exact price range you want to have for your items for your search. You can create any kind of facets. And those facets are really simple to configure. You just need to add them to the page. Then you get the same kind of configuration, in which you can name your facets. You can maybe facet, you can pick a field, and all the field are available as facet in Coveo. And then you can just add it to the vendor on the site. That's what you manage that facet. I have three facets. All I have is in English, but then we have these facets that is previously in the Relevance is something we're saying. Those at the top here are new for cycle 4. These are tabs. These are kind of specification of visualization of the current search page. So if you want to have multiple types of content, you display on the same search page. Let's see, documents, downloads, correct spec sheet, those kind of things. You can have different visualization. You can use at the same time remove the filter what content should be searched. It should be moved differently because I know I'm going to be searching against this content, it should be 3 different classifications. And then you get once more, you get the and then you use that configuration between those. Maybe let me show you a quick example of a customer that's on fire. This week actually with Coveo, with Sitecore Cloud Edition, the rest of offers on our beta program, implemented with the beta version. And just as we release the final version get rid and then their license last Monday with the version. It did what most of our customers do with on phase 1 of Coveo search. They did a search box, a search page, pretty simple search page size, but pretty simple search page. They also use Coveo to drive content to subscribe to the phone. If I go here, if I search for a carton, we do packaging products. Carton, actually, I think typing is directed. So I'm currently seeing those search results. So it's very simple. It's a JS UI that is being styled to look like this, and we apply their own style to our results. If I click on those, the results are going to be tracked, so we'll be able to leverage the data at some point. It's only been a week, we've done a lot of large amount of tracking on the website, so we're doing a lot of convenience. That's one point close to revealing directly into that website. And they deal with this scrolling, so as they go to the page, there's more and more data coming in. Delete the page, another option to do those things. If you go to the product section, all of those are your left-hand bird. If I go to pulling cartons, yeah, there's data around the standard of products, and at the bottom here, there's a search section. And this is where you use facets. Actually, since you know that you're going to categorize what you probably want to look for your company, that's where you want to find using those facets, those types of facets. If you use our facet, you style them to look like this. But everything is simple to the facet. I would have cartons for the eating food, those are the products that we have available. It's very easy for a customer to look at this data. If they want to have, I don't know, storing like price in there, just need to drop drag up storing component in that page, take the price field, and they'll be able to sort based on price. If we come up with, if we add multiple products, or if you add multiple products, if you want to have a search box in that page, because there's just too much content, you want to have keywords we will search on. You need to drop a search box in that page, and then there will be keywords. That's a typical use case. So people use a search box, a search page to drive the global search. So people expect on a website, a website page that drives that true search results. And they went a bit further by using Coveo to drive the listing pages. We have other customers who are going further. Big one. Enbridge is one of them. Enbridge, this is their corporate website. We use a tile layout for regular content. So this is a tile for content. This is a tile for wealth, for health. This is a tile for stock quotes. There's tile for videos. There's tiles also for math content. All of those tiles are made. Those tiles we sell for your website. And they decided to apply the same concept of tiles to Coveo results. If I search for line 61, there's good results on line 61. So those same tiles are rendered in search page. This created different types of results. So based on the specific field, they use different rendering that they created for the site. So you can use those rendering to drive content when you can put it within this page. So they have maps, we have content, same content. And then you can use different Taxonomy on those pages. We've also used Coveo to drive other listing pages, so reports for investors are also driven by Coveo. You can go in there and search, you can filter by year, you can search by any keyword that you want to get download the document. We've also done something nice, and that's why I actually can show you. Reports and filters. You can even click and build document, build a small package. So I'm looking for investor report for, let's say, for the year 2015, build their actual taxes. Then I want those to be downloaded, Sitecore reports, and you can build a package. This is search driven, but then there's more features there on top of the interface. We also did something quite nice, which I think we should probably bake to the product at some point. They're using Coveo to drive in the 404 page. But if I go into a link that was provided at some point on somewhere on the internet, if I look at that page, but there's no content on the web page, they'll certainly just put that page. So those are the most popular pages looking at analytics data, Sitecore analytics data. We offer you to go from search, but they also offer you content based on what you touch. So they're using the context of that page. So the URL, stripping the hosting of that site, we providing content based on this, based on those keywords. They're also doing another couple of things using context. My search, my typical demo, now it's not to make more sense. To go to one of those pages, let's make this one. Let's go something about search. So this is the default site for content. So on that site for item, there's a title, there's a description, there's two images. They define that content. And at the bottom, they've used the same thing that you've seen in the 404 page. So it's a small search interface that drives. In this case, it's 4 by 2 results, 4 at the top, 2 columns, and then the context that will drive the query. Is there a key word on that page? So we tag this page, we use this content. I don't know what word tagged in your hood, but this content is driven by search. So if you create new content that match those keywords, well, at some point you'll come up into those pages, it'll be a bit hangout, a bit about the deal, a bit about what the site optimized into the search algorithm. But basically they use Coveo to drive your content. There's just so many content on the website. You don't want to have somebody to manually curate those pages. So for this specific page about this specific project, this specific outcome, I would have this piece of content, this piece of content, this piece of content. They realize that instead of just to have a search engine that is good as providing good results and have those results being rendered on that page. They're good using this version. We're planning to migrate into establishing that reveal activated and all that. They're going to forward it to the second. Do you have any questions? Maybe it's a good place to start the first question. Been talking a lot.
So they're all being in the cloud, is there any compliance issue with PCI?
We're drinking community depot. Last CSAT design today, but we're SOC 1 and SOC 2 back to compliant. We're always trying to implement more compliance standards. You have a question about?
So all the examples you showed here, are they kind of using the stock Coveo renderings and the JavaScript?
Yeah, even for Enbridge, they simply use they use the JS framework, but instead of using our own rendering engine, they decided to use their own. So all this is JavaScript based. So we simply go to their rendering for different type of content into our framework, and then we can get those kind of results for Coveo. So that means that if you refine these different results, then you store it in our framework. That's actually the best practice you can do with Coveo, is to go with our framework. Our framework will allow you to first build the basically quickly. Then you'll get to store statistics around what's happening on search. You'll get to have those stats to be able to look at them around. And then if you want to use advanced feature like reveal and everything is baked on, everything is there up to you to be used. You just need to activate the features. There's an API level, there's an API for everything. There's an API for search, there's an API for reveal, there's an API for regional analytics, there's an API for the platform itself, the computer platform. There's an API for everything. Search API is actually a good model of how to use all of those APIs. So if you're new to Coveo, start with the JavaScript UI, maybe look at how it's behaving, how it's finding it, what that call is doing. If you want to step up the track, maybe to make something more custom, at least you know how to use the API. That's a good discussion point.
Then the other question I had is, how is Coveo Cloud priced? Is it usage-based, kind of like SCP Cloud, or?
Let me show you a slide.
And kind of related to that, but how easy is it to switch between on-premise to the cloud side? All right, we want to do it on.
Well, you first have to upgrade to version 4. Version 4 is the only one you can connect our version. Upgrading to version 4 is really simple. So we've changed the GSUI framework. We now work with the version 1.0. We were working with version 0.9. There's a few things that need to be changed in the GSUI framework to build something on top of my version. There's a migration guide that helps you go through that. There's also the configuration which has changed. So once you've migrated to the version 4, switching from an on-premise index to cloud index is first of all, you need to change your license to be cloud Coveo. So this organization, I want it to be cloud organization now. We'll either create you a new license on the site to switch slowly, or if you want to basically change your organization, Sitecore will fetch those licenses every day, or you can fetch it yourself. You allow the new cloud license. It's so that we configure to connect our cloud platform. And the next time you have to build, that way we're being sent to the cloud platform. Same thing for Corey, same thing for everything. Okay, so migration, then you had a question about pricing. Currently we have the Pro Cloud Edition. So the equivalent of the Pro Edition would be basically with a cloud index, so you get revealed. Two use cases of reveal are included in that Pro Cloud Edition. You get one production, one sandbox instance of Coveo. You can connect your production to production of Coveo, and then you can play with the sandbox. If you test it for environment, you can send document and send for another instance of Coveo. So you won't be messing with the production environment. You won't be creating document, false statistics, those kind of things. And then you get to do 100K queries per month, again, against this index. You get to index 1 million Sitecore items, 500K total items. In the case of the Pro, you can call the web crawler, the Sitecore crawler. And then it's priced per Sitecore install. So if you have, and then the price is half for non-version install. So it's basically like we used to do before. So we price it based on the production, and non-version on Sitecore. We're planning to introduce the enterprise cloud edition later on this year. Currently, we don't. It's not publicly available, but almost really because we talk about it publicly. But basically, the enterprise cloud edition will have all those boxes checked. Currently, we're waiting to have an on-premise activity model because most of our on-premise enterprise customers are using on-premise activity nowadays. We're waiting to have this model available, and there's a few more use cases that we're waiting to have to make them available for the enterprise cloud edition. But if today you want to use all the features that you have here, that you've seen, reveal, you want to do ranking editor, you want to use the enterprise specific feature, you can do it in the enterprise cloud version with the Any other questions?
That's good.
Great. Everybody's going to rush out and download Coveo. Everybody's going to rush out and download Coveo.
Yeah, actually, if you go to the website on coveo.com/Sitecore, you can go on the download section. You can get the binaries. Once you deploy them, you can get started. You can start a free trial. Pretty easy to get started. I recommend that's the best way to go work to get started working with it. You know how to make it work, so it should be pretty easy for you guys to do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for presenting. Thanks for flying into Milwaukee and coming to the group. Kind of housekeeping notes. I know we're going to keep away coming up. We are planning our next meetup. Location still being to be determined. I guess we would appreciate feedback, whether you share it with me directly or if you share it through the meetup page. If these kind of the meetups are in the summer, kind of hard to, if there would be interest in one, it'd be held one in August. I think that's the next month we might be targeting. We're willing to kind of delay that, but I guess we're also just trying to hear from the community to see if there'll be enough interest in holding something in August. I think tentatively we're going to be presenting on Federated Experience Manager in August. We've got somebody stand up, I kind of want to present on that, so. And then I know I'm working with some folks from Sitecore to potentially get a presentation on Path Analyzer towards the end of the year. From a couple of the engineers on that team. So we got a couple things in the pipeline. If there's other items, or if you're interested in presenting yourself, definitely reach out. Otherwise, thanks for coming. Thanks again to Perficient for hosting. And again, it's just always great to see the big turnout. Take care.
Our official